NEPM's podcasts are funded by Armbrook Village Senior Living in Westfield, with support services designed to help seniors age in place, including a Compass Memory Support Neighborhood. More at armbrookvillage.com.
Welcome to the Fabulous 413. I'm Khalees Smith.
And I'm Monty Belmonte. Later in the show, a lineup of food trucks is coming to the Springfield neighborhood of Indian Orchard this Saturday, and we'll give you a snack peek.
We'll also learn about the importance of the Food Truck Festival for that community with State Representative Orlando Ramos and City Councilor and Neighborhood banner waver Zaida Govan.
And we'll talk about the Who's What's It that Khalees got from the dessert food truck.
It was giant.
Plus more about other thingamabobs and whatchamacallits when we hear about placeholder words from word nerd Emily Brewster from Merriam Webster.
But first, we'd like to introduce you to our friends.
The radio's here. You want to start at the top?
Friendship band.
My name is Brian LeClaire.
And what do you play in the friendship band?
I play the drums.
What's your name?
Shaker.
Shaker, banana shaker.
Go ahead.
What's your name and what do you play in the friendship band?
I'm Emily Brewster.
Oh, you're the lead singer. Okay, what's your name?
My name is Anno. I'm also a singer too.
All right, two lead singers. I love that. What's your name and what do you do in the friendship band?
I'm doing Marvis Garrett Riddle, and I'm doing guitarist.
Yeah, you're playing the Squire. What's your name? What do you do in the friendship
Hi, I'm
band?
Eddie. I play bass and sing in the friendship band.
I'll play the drums.
What's your name?
My name is Jennifer Barrett.
Hi. What's your name and what do you do in the friendship band?
I'm Chris and I play the drums.
I'm Brian and I play the guitar.
And what's your name and what do you play in the friendship band?
I'm going to play the keyboard.
Yeah. What is the friendship band?
Okay.
Every drummer does that in every band. And
drummer does that.
But I band get horn put this group together in the opening in Harry and put different special needs together and write songs and play songs and go out doing our gigs and boxing whole bunch.
yeah, that's awesome. The old building on Route 9 in Hadley, and everybody getting together to play together with all sorts of different levels of needs and abilities.
I'm playing drums like for 20 years.
20 years, yes.
I play the drums and I play this thunder drum right here.
Yeah, the thunder drum, keeping the beat.
I like to sing because I'm in the car with Phil O'Donoghue. When I listen to my own music, I sing along a little bit.
What's your favorite kind of music, Aiden?
My favorite type of music is a theme song of our band, the Friendship Band.
Yeah. Way to go. Shamelessly. Correct answer.
What are you practicing for?
We're practicing for a gigantic gig. That's one of our biggest. It's called The Bash. It's happening on October 23rd, Wednesday, right?
33 Holly in
At
Northampton.
33 Holly, Northampton Center for the Arts. Who's opening for us, you guys?
Yo la Tengo!
The Yo la Tengo is opening for you guys. Although if you look at the posters around the Friendship Band band room, you see things like you played with Dinosaur Jr. and Thurston Moore of Sonic Youth and Henry Rollins of Black Flag and the Rollins Band. How are you getting all these high-profile bands to open up for you?
I'm not really sure.
Have you heard us play? I think it's self-explanatory.
That's true.
Well, we did perform at the Westfield. As we did this with a body walk event, is a really opportunity for us.
Yeah, that's right. That was last weekend. On Saturday, we played the Buddy Walk in Westfield.
I love the Buddy Walk.
I got one.
It was awesome.
I got one. We did the John Jett at Luke Park.
That's right.
You did Joan Jett?
Performing as Joan Jett.
Performance, raising money for the schools of Northampton.
When we were at Luke Park singing as John Jett, we were singing Bad Reputation, Christmas and Clover. I love rock and roll. It's a great thing. It's a great song, and we all liked it.
You can tell this is a huge band. There's a lot of us. Two of us aren't even here right now. I think there's 13 in all right now. And that includes 3 teachers and 11 participants.
We lose count. We don't even
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
That's what happens when your band is ginormous.
It's
You just,
ginormous.
The friendship band, though, is part of Pathlight, which is
Yes.
now, it used to be on Route 9 in Hadley, and now it's here in Northampton.
That's right.
On Village Hill.
That's
and
right.
this concert with Yo la Tengo is a fundraiser for the work that you do. Who wants to talk, or does anybody good to talk about the work of Pathlight apart from the friendship band?
It's our 20-year birthday.
Whole Children's, Whole Children's 20th birthday. We are a part of Pathlight, but Whole Children was started in 2004, so we're celebrating our 20th birthday. We have extracurricular and enrichment classes and activities for kids and adults of all abilities.
The former,
Place to be.
I know the mayor of Northampton currently used to work as part of this too, right? So, yeah,
That's
GL.
right.
Like one of
We have friends in high places, and we have friends in low places, and we have friends in medium places.
Yeah.
We got the friends all over
Your band is the friendship band, so that tracks.
Chris said we've been around for 20 years. A bunch of people in this room have been here for almost all of those 20 years.
How about AJ?
Garrett's been here for a long time. Lucy, Aiden, Jack, Brian. AJ we've known for a long time. Chris and I have been working here for 15 years, so that's right. We got a lot of heavy hitters here.
We're thinking about starting a second class or group. Believe it or not, you're in a class right now, which is the craziest thing of all. Not that crazy. Yeah, I guess that's true. With what they're teaching in school these days. So there's the friendship band All Stars that can like gig and play out, and then there's another sort of group that's skill building and learning the songs and learning how we sort of do it. So yeah, these are all stars here basically.
Way to go, All Stars.
Yeah.
Last year for your gala, it was a talent show. Why a concert this year instead?
Oh, I know why.
Why? I don't know.
Because I started at Milestones, and I started the friendship band.
So it's all because of you.
Yes.
I knew it.
I think I can answer this. It's Whole Children's 20th. It's the Friendship Band's 10th birthday. We're actually merging. Pathlight's going to be merging, so we kind of wanted to do like a huge fun party for our 20th, and we were like, we're in the band, and so we're like, we wanted to play a show, and that's how it started. Yeah, it's going to be a good time.
Yo la Tengo somehow.
Yeah, so somebody knew Yo la Tango, and that's how it happens? Is that
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much,
You don't even know. You just show up, and this amazing
Yeah.
band's open up for you?
Yeah. We played a lot with local bands. We played with Eavesdrop, and we played with Krista Joy and the Honeybees. And so we like to play with local people. There's also an auction, and a silent auction, and a raffle with a lot of local businesses and entrepreneurs and their gifts and services and goods. So that'll be exciting too at the Bash.
And it's Wednesday, October 23rd at 33 Holly with Yo la Tango and
Let's go.
the whole Children Friendship Band.
Do you want to say anything, AJ? Brian's calling on you.
We always try to jam along, try to do it best if we can to concentrate.
Yeah, you did great.
AJ's his first professional gig coming up, I think. He's getting paid. Yeah, if you hear AJ play, he's like a expert piano player.
I think we should play Good Idea. And
Yeah, maybe
really
one song to
let AJ
kick-
rip it up.
All right.
Yeah, play us out. Eddie and Brian and Chris, we met with the band, but what's your name?
Valley Dwight.
And what do you do here? Is it Whole Children or Pathlight, or where are we right
It's
now?
all those things. I'm the director of communications and fundraising for Pathlight, which is the parent organization of Whole Children and Milestone.
Okay, and so what's Milestones then? We've heard that a little bit, but I don't. How does all this connect?
So Milestones is Whole Children for adults.
Okay.
When Whole Children started, there was all kids. It was all 8 and 9 and 10-year-olds. And then as 10 years went by, we were like, uh-oh, they're now adults and they don't want to be at Whole Children, but they still need the same stuff, you know? So we created Milestones.
Supportive systems all the way down instead of turtles.
Yeah.
Milestones is a community-based day program, so we meet at 9:30 till 3, and then we have Milestones Rec and whole children classes after the program. So that's kind of like after-school hours, evening classes.
So his whole children was kind of homespun here, and then Pathlight is maybe a larger organization. Is that how it?
Yes, it was started by 5 moms in 2004, and in around 2010, we're how do you say this nicely?
Acquired?
Acquired, thank you. Absorbed.
Absorbed?
Absorbed is also nice.
By Pathlight, which really helped us to grow. We were kind of very volunteer based at that point and 100% like reliant on donations and everything. And so we were able to get this sort of bigger infrastructure with Pathlight's help. And we've really grown since then enormously.
I know Eddie does, and I know you do, Valley, have kids that have been through this program. Does everybody involved have some sort of personal connection?
No, Brian and I both started right out of UMass.
So what got you involved? What made you want to be part of this?
Working with people with disabilities was something I had done since I was a teenager, and a friend worked here and was like, you should go and check it out. And then I started, and then here I am 15 years later.
My story's similar. So I when I was at UMass, I got an internship working at a place that supported people with disabilities in Eastern Mass. And one of the kids who went to that center lives in Amherst and comes here. So they were like, hey, you should check out Whole Children. I was like, yeah, okay, and I'm still here. It never ends.
But Brian's first gig, and I think Chris's too, was that inclusive chorus, the Dan Zane show that we did, which was we really wanted to do this inclusion thing. It's not just kids with disabilities. And so we had things like the Dan Zane's chorus, and we had Friendship Band, which is also inclusive, and joining up with Yo la Tengo. So it's sort of like 15, 20 years later, we're doing the same stuff.
Still rocking. Yeah, go ahead.
You're involved in both the Friendship Band and the chorus. Like, how do they feel different? And are the kids drawn to one or the other? Do they feel different, each group?
Well, we have different people in different groups. There are some young people, but everyone's an adult basically in both groups. The chorus is a little more. It's new to me. I'm the newer director, Liam Regan. This is just like kind of chaotic. It's really just we're sort of flying by the seat of our pants, but we're really rocking. And then the chorus is more sort of about singing and connecting. And we also play original songs in the Friendship Band, and the chorus does a lot of covers.
Yeah. You have a theme song.
I know.
I've never been in a band that had a theme song.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah. And also all the songs are about friendship, except for one.
Which one isn't?
Big wave.
It's about a big wave.
Let's go catch a big, big, big wave.
But they write their own songs based on, like, Boba Tia. Tell them the story about Boba Tia.
So there's a student. We did this like commercial at one point. We were trying to film a commercial for one of the programs, and the instruction was this guy was gonna put some spices into a soup pot and say bon appetit because we were doing a cooking class. And he kept doing the chef's kiss and going, Boba Tia. And we just loved that word, so we just said Boba Tia again and again. And now we have mugs that say Boba Tia. We have a song called, and it means something really amazing.
It's the best thing you love. So in the song we say, tell them something that's Bobo Tia, and then someone steps up to the mic and they'll be like, the Friendship Band!
Exactly. It's that awesome thing you love.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
And then if something is not great, it's no botia.
No botia. Okay.
And then there's How's Your Day, which was just like this sort of catchphrase that one of the former, members used to always come in and be like, how's your day? How's your day?
So we wrote that song as well. He was mentioned like 4 times. That's Cade, who a lot of people were talking about in your previous interview as a founding member, who will be there on the 23rd and will perform How's Your Day with the band. This is the lore people need. This is what we
want to hear the backstory behind the music of the Friendship Band.
We need a VH1 special. Let's go.
That would be awesome. I would do that. I would watch that.
Yeah, me too. Valley, you're one of the founding parents, right?
Sort of, kind of.
Okay, so close enough to a founding parent?
Yes.
What has this organization meant to you and your family and to Aiden, especially now that it's celebrating this anniversary with a big show with Yo la Tengo on the 23rd?
It's been everything to our family. I mean, it has given me connections with other parents that still survive to this day, and I'm really looking forward to seeing old friends on the 23rd. And for Aiden, it's his life. I mean, he comes here for the day program a couple days a week. He volunteers at Christopher Heights, which is right there, so he can walk over here afterwards. He plays in the band. So it offers friendship, social skills opportunities. He comes here for parties, and it's hard. I can't even imagine what it would be like not having something like this in our life.
What about you, Eddie?
Well, my kid just turned 10 and has only taken a few classes here, but I'm getting a huge dose of how to sort of teach and be, and a lot of the stuff I teach during the day in the day program, I'm actually just taking those lessons myself. I'm like slowing down and breathing and regulating and being kind and being thoughtful. And some of the stuff we're learning, I'm a better musician playing with these guys. So, but my kid will be coming to these programs more and more and more and more as they get older. She's in 4th grade now, so Emma, it's just very interesting, exciting, important, and like Valley was saying, it's kind of everything every day. You can get a little burnt. It's a lot of work because we want to be a good rock and roll band. We don't want to be the band that, gets a pass because we're disabled. We want to be awesome. Yeah. So it's a lot of work. But it's any work. It's a lot of work to be in any rock band.
It's a lot of work to be in any rock band. And you're saying it's chaotic. I was like, no, that's just rock and roll.
Yeah, things are like literally falling apart. One of the legs that fell off the drums the other day on Saturday when we were playing.
Holding it up with my other leg.
But that's what it's all like, I mean, so. But yeah, I couldn't. I've been here 8 years, and it feels like I don't really remember my life before this, so that's probably a good sign. I know it wasn't as rich.
I remember life before Whole Children, and it was very isolating for families, and it was very lonely for the kids, especially when they hit around that age 10, when the other kids aren't playing with them as much because the other kids are off doing their more like conversational based play as opposed to, and so then our kids got more and more isolated, and so that this place stepped in and filled a huge gap. And I remember when we didn't have it, and so I appreciate it so much, still.
How important is it to have music to help fill that gap?
I think that we also have a theater program, so the music and the theater programs are such great ways for our guys to be included in the community. It gives them skills, and then they get to go show off too a little bit. They get to be center stage, and people see them. And even we were at Look Park at the Performance 34, and they played. People were like, "Oh my God, these guys are good," and they enjoyed it. It's like, yes, they get that moment, and so those performing arts are really important here. But there's so much more than performing arts here because they learn all the skills before they go out there so that they do a really good job.
They've been getting stopped in the community after that performance.
You become a rock star.
Yeah.
You don't get a moment of freedom.
Music is this universal language. So people with less language available to them, we all speak music. We all speak, this makes me want to get up and move. This makes me want to sing along. This makes me happy. A lot of the friendship band, even though we're a rock band, we do want you to shake your butt, kind of
there was
thing.
dancing happening.
Yes, Aiden was shaking his butt.
Yes, as always.
We tried to figure this out before, and I bet I have a guess that I'm not going to offer an answer for, but how the heck do you land Yo La Tengo as your opening act?
We asked, and they said yes. That's all it takes.
It never hurts to ask. Another thing that we have learned with this show.
It never hurts to ask.
And then when you got them, did you say, I have it, something female?
Right.
That's what Yo La Tengo means.
Right, exactly, right. Yes.
In Spanish.
That is what we say normally, yes. Yes, I have it. Something female.
Yo La Tengo.
I have something female.
I have something that...
it's feminine
something.
somehow.
I didn't know that till right this second.
That is,
Yeah, anyway.
I've been trying to listen to as much Yo La Tengo as possible in the last few weeks. It's great.
They're actually going to join us. They're going to join us on stage for 2 songs.
Yeah,
so that's pretty exciting too.
Yeah. That is
we're going to join
We're going to
them
play
as
with
well.
them too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a
cool.
cross-cultural exchange.
And the friendship band is always down to play with the other bands out there.
Yeah,
so
let us know. We're in. We're totally
down.
We're bookable for sure.
We are your best opening act.
The Whole Children Friendship Band is playing with Yo La Tengo Wednesday, October 23rd at 33 Holly in Northampton. Tickets available at wholechildren.org/events, and they go fast, like they're on the verge of selling out. So if you're interested, go now.
Later in the show, 20-plus trucks, 2,000 people in one neighborhood of Springfield. We'll hear about the Indian Orchard Food Truck Festival from organizers City Councilor Zaida Govan and State Rep Orlando Ramos.
But up next, we'll hear about this doohickey.
The who's he what now?
You know, the who's he what's it.
Oh, right. Emily Brewster, resident wordster from Merriam Webster, will talk about placeholder words.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Northeast Solar, offering solar options, energy security, and solutions for the local community. Learn more at northeast-solar.com. The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Greenfield Savings Bank, providing residential lending advice for homeowners looking to refinance or start home improvements. GSB's residential lenders are here to help navigate all lending options. Find more information at greenfieldsavings.com or at 413-775-8200. Greenfield Savings Bank, member FDIC, DIF, equal housing lender, NMLS 409187.
Time for another Word Nerd segment with Emily Brewster, resident wordster from Merriam Webster, where today we're going to talk about whatchamacallit.
The thingamabob. The who's he what's it.
Khalees, you had an interesting question for the Word Nerd about these type of words.
Yeah, because there's so many of them.
You want thingamabobs? I got 20.
And each culture has kind of its own, and ours are such a portmanteau of so many words often that it's just kind of fascinating to see which ones stick and which ones go by the wayside as time goes by.
Are these words in the dictionary, Emily Brewster?
Many of them are, but not all of them, right? Every family, every individual has their own idiolect and the potential to have their own placeholder words.
I am totally going to talk my band into calling our next album Idiolect.
I like that.
What do you two go to? What's your go-to word when you can't think of that thing?
I think mine is whatchamacallit.
Yeah.
Which is also a candy bar, right?
Right. A very tasty candy bar. Yeah. Underrepresented. I use whatchamacallit, but often it's who's he what's it because I can't remember somebody's name.
Uh-huh.
Right.
If it's somebody's name, I'll say, what's his face?
Yeah, what's his face is also up there. But yeah, who's he what's it is my new fill in the blank word.
I'll also say that this is almost like kind of on the border of it, but like if my dad doesn't understand what you're talking about, he goes back to a Three Stooges episode where they're trying to speak in Italian and they say Anacana Punacan Las Bagnas Sate Benefucci.
Yatte Benefucia Timene Haranja Pararikman Hiha June 22nd.
So like if my dad does not understand what you're saying, he's gonna default to Three Stooges Italian.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, that's really excellent. Yeah.
What are these words?
A lot of these words do include, an element of a real word, like what or who or thing.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them do, though. I like the word doodad.
Yeah.
Right.
Doodad. I mean, it's clearly, it. I don't think it really has to do with the word do.
Or dad.
And a can of Panasand.
Or dad. Or dad. Yeah.
Or dad.
And it's interesting how some of these are really long and some of them are very short. Some of them are more transparent. Some of them, to a non-native speaker, would just be completely, there's nothing really to even latch onto as meaning.
Right.
I grew up with dingus.
Oh, that's such
that wasn't the primary one, but I also have an uncle who uses dingus as an insult.
That's
like
how I'm familiar with it.
It was on TV, dingus. Why don't you watch it?
A playful insult. Yeah, be like, hand me that dingus over there.
Then there's the post-Easter holiday of Schmingus Dingus, where you get somebody wet on purpose. But we'll talk about that another time.
The look of horror on my face right now and confusion.
What a cool name, though, Schmingus Dingus. Come on.
Wow.
So
yeah. I'm sure I had the same expression.
How would you have used dingus, Emily Brewster?
The questions we get to ask.
I know, I love it.
You just did. You hand me that dingus over there.
That's cool.
Yeah, let me see. That one, dingus, how old is that? 1873 is the date we have for dingus.
And it's used in the way that you are using it, not in the insulting way that your uncle and I like to use it?
Dingus?
That's right. The insult is more recent.
But is that in the dictionary too?
It is, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And dingus, it's actually it's Germanic. The word for thing in German is ding.
Ah, okay.
Oh, yeah,
That makes a
that
lot of
dingus.
sense.
Dinga.
Well, and it
Yeah.
sounds like thing, so like this is clearly where we get it from.
Yeah.
Yes, and it is etymologically related, of course, to the word thing.
I didn't realize that dingus was one of these words somehow.
Yeah.
I know, because again, that would just fall into the insult category for me.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to stop these words from doing other things. You can imagine the evolution of the word from Oh, I was talking to Who's-y What's-it. No, I was talking to that dingus over there. Yeah. My uncle's voice is echoing in my head.
But, I mean, words like who's-y, what's-it, and whatchamacallit, they're so fun. Like, they say so much so succinctly, even though they're not that succinct. They're pretty long words.
But how do they vary from standard portmanteaus? Because it is a mash of all of these words, just like, I guess you're not culling parts of the words to smash them together. You're just smashing them all together. But, I mean, it's an interesting form of portmanteau.
Well, the length of the word can be helpful in the way that syllables, such as I just said, in speech, are helpful. They provide space. They give us a little bit of time to think of something. And so, a long one like whatchamacallit or thingamabob or thingamajiggy, thingamajigum, they give us a little bit of wiggle room in
because we're getting jiggy with it.
Getting jiggy with it.
Oh.
Keep my thingamajiggy out of your mouth.
Wow. Oh, does it hurt? Yes.
Ask Chris Rock.
Oh,
Wow. Yeah, no Oscars for that dude for a while.
He can actually win. He just can't go to the ceremony, which doesn't seem like punishment to me at all.
That's not punishment.
Yeah, anyway.
But there are also more efficient placeholder words like whatnot. That's one you can use in formal settings.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think about that as one.
No, but it
totally
definitely is.
Yeah. Or what have you.
Yeah.
I say,
Right.
I use
What
that one
have
quite a
you.
bit. What have you?
Now, they're different from portmanteaus in that the portmanteau carries all of the meanings of its elements. And these words, these placeholder words, they're just trying to point to the idea of meaning in general. Like, is there a Platonic ideal of an unformed thing?
I think of the phrase gestures broadly, where you're trying to say, who's-y, what's it? And you gesture broadly. You know who I'm talking about. There's a word that we keep saying that people who love words know, but other people don't use all the time, and that word is portmanteau. Can we talk a little bit about what portmanteau means and the fun etymology where that one came from?
Sure. Yes, that word is it's a word about words. It's a word that refers to a word that is made by taking elements from two or more other words and putting them together, combining them into a new single word. Portmanteau is the kind of popular term for it. In the study of linguistics, people call these blends, which is very, very dull. Really.
I'm going to start calling wine
word.
blends wine portmanteaus. Or is it portsmanteau?
Just portmanteau. Now, the word portmanteau is a word that Lewis Carroll introduced in Alice Through the Looking Glass. Not Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Through the Looking Glass.
Which also has jabberwocky, which sounds like somebody maybe if they talking your ear off while you're taking a long walk, but it's not actually what that means.
I mean, honestly, jabberwocky sounds like one of these placeholder words.
Yeah, like that jabberwocky over there. It won't shut up.
Exactly.
Right.
Dingus.
Right. And actually, it is in exactly that context that the word portmanteau is used in Through the Looking Glass. Alice asks Humpty Dumpty to explain words from the jabberwocky. And Humpty Dumpty explains that slithy is like a portmanteau. There are two meanings packed up into one word. A portmanteau being originally a kind of carrying case, like, kind of luggage that you could put at different sections for things.
So that's what a portmanteau really was, a piece of luggage, right? And you squished all of these words into one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, and now it's the same thing because it is the luggage in which we squish these words to provide more concise meaning to travel.
Yes, and it's a very, very popular way to coin words these days. And it only has been for a couple hundred years now, I guess. But now it's such a popular way to form new words. You ask kids in third grade or something to make up a word, and they will put two words together.
Or if you have a famous celebrity couple, you just figure out a way to squish their two names together.
Bennifer 2.0 is now officially over.
It's so dumb.
I think it's dumb, too.
not to keep bringing it to other countries where I involve myself in the culture, but this portmanteau is a thing that often happens in Japan with popular people, like Kimutaku is like a popular way to talk about Takuya Kimura, who was in SMAP, which was a very popular boys band in the 90s, and he became an actor, and he's very good. But like when people are talking about him, they say Kimutaku instead of his whole name.
Kimura-san desu ka? So they just took little pieces of his name and smushed them together into something shorter.
Yes.
I know that there are ones that we must do in that with English celebrities too, or American celebrities, but I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Yeah, I only think of it. I think we mostly do it.
Oh, ScarJo. Scarlett Johansson. There's one.
Is that real?
Oh, yeah, yes. People call her ScarJo all the time.
Oh, yeah,
that
is real.
sounds...
Well, and J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once again, I'm going to say, there's always room for J-Lo. This is going to be an ongoing theme whenever anything talks about cello or jello or J-Lo.
I mean, there's that whole movie, which really puts that question to the test, I think.
What's that movie again?
Oh, I don't know. It's something about love. The one that like nobody would finance, so she financed it herself and kind of talked Jane Fonda into being in it somehow.
It was a challenging project in that way. It's like there could have never been enough money for the project. Everybody thought I was crazy.
I haven't seen it.
You don't need to. There's a lot of synopses online, and they're all gold.
I saw the portmanteau movie that was self-financed by Francis Ford Coppola, Megalopolis, though. There we go.
And you think 1 year of medical school entitles you to plow through the riches of my Emersonian mind?
Okay, but not all portmanteaus are, just to bring us back to the topic of placeholder words, because portmanteaus, they tend to carry meaning in a way that these placeholder words really don't. I'm interested in whether either of you are familiar with the Philadelphian placeholder word, John.
Yes.
No, we could have asked our Philadelphia/Pittsburgh friend, John Sutton, who works here. I'm sure he is familiar with it, but what is it, Khalees?
Because Philadelphia/Pittsburgh. I'm from Pittsburgh. And
no relation with their language?
No. I mean,
okay.
they're separated by hours and hours of farmland.
Yeah, it's like
the Pittsburgh dialect and the Philadelphian dialect are very
different.
Okay.
Yeah,
very
and
nice.
like this for Philadelphia, like I assumed this, like I realized later that this was a Philadelphia thing because I'd heard it in basically Chesapeake Bay area. It trickled down into Maryland.
So
interesting.
What does John mean, and how do you spell it?
Yeah, Khalees, how are you familiar with it being used? It's Jawn.
Right. I don't remember.
Yeah.
It has been a real long time.
I am not a native speaker either, but my dear former colleague, Corey Stamper, she lives in New Jersey, just outside of Philadelphia, and she wrote for Merriam Webster about the word John. She was how I learned about the word John, and it's got a very interesting history. My understanding is that people say like, oh, you got to get a little of that, and oh, all that John. It's used in many, many kinds of contexts.
So it's like all that jazz.
And all that jazz.
And
yes.
Where I was,
Sometimes.
It was essentially interchangeable with joint.
Like a Spike Lee joint or like a joint you would smoke?
No, like Spike Lee joint.
So
you'd say John or you'd say joint.
Oh,
and
cool.
it was interchangeable where I was.
Oh, could you say a place?
And that is the etymology of the word John. It comes from the use of the word joint in New York, and it filtered down to Philadelphia. And because the oi sound, it kind of gets smushed linguistically as it moves further south in the United States, in the southeastern U.S.
So John. Yeah, it evolves
we're
into
doing
it.
that, John. So that you even have examples of spellings in the South of the word joint, J-U-N-T. We're going down to that, John.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it almost sounds like it's got a New Orleans kind of sound when you say it like that.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I'm just like, oh, yeah, no, people would say John or they would say joint, and that's basically from Baltimore to the DMV. Like, they're interchangeable.
What are some other fun placeholder words there, Emily Brewster?
Well, there is an Irish one that I learned about from Stan Carey, who is a linguist and writer. He told me about yoke, Y-O-K-E, is used in Dublin and thereabouts is just a word of like, in the way that these are used. Like, oh, couldn't put my hands on that yoke. Then they also put it in longer combinations like yokamabob and yokamajig and thingamayoke.
So it means thing in this, basically in this use, yoke?
Yes, it's the same as thingamabob is to us. Or it certainly has some of that use. I'm not saying that's what it's restricted to entirely, but it definitely overlaps with these placeholder words that we have in English, American English.
I think of that word as being associated with my Christianity background, where you're not supposed to get married to somebody who's not a believer, so you're not unequally yoked. Like hitched up like two oxen pulling a cart.
Yeah.
My poor wife, the yoke's on her.
Okay.
What are some of the others?
I mean, almost all the swear words are them. You can use them as placeholders for almost everything.
Also looking at a quick list, and I didn't realize that gizmo was one, and then doohickey.
Oh, yeah, doohickey.
Yeah, doohickey for sure.
Doohickey I probably say a lot.
Yeah, doohickey I do also use a lot.
Gizmo is now a proper name in my mind because of Gremlins.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but
I just call him Gizmo. He seems to like it.
Thingum also. Thingum is pretty nice and efficient.
Yeah, I like that.
You don't want to go all the way to thingamabob. You just say thingum.
Yeah.
This one mentions ujamaflip, which I feel like I should use more often.
Yeah, you should.
Ujamaflip. Nice.
Wow.
Well, and there's nothing to stop people from coining their own, of course.
Right.
And the more colorful sounding it is, perhaps the more impressive it will sound to people, and then they will choose to adopt it. In my family, we had one of these placeholder words that took on great specificity. It was so specific that I thought it was actually a widely used name for this thing. A hairband in my childhood was called a thingy-do. My mom's putting my hair in a French braid. And she's like, okay, get me a thingy-do. And I would go and I would make sure I had a thingy-do. I was in college before I realized that not everybody called these hair ties, hair bands, that thingy-do wasn't a more widely known name for the hair tie.
Well, first off, I want to start like a great white cover band that's called Thingy Do now, because they're a hair band as well. I'm once bitten, twice shy, baby. But where I grew up, in the Boston area, there are elastics.
Yes.
And there are rubber bands.
Yes.
So people oftentimes from not Boston call hair stuff elastic, a hair elastic or whatever.
Yeah.
We called all rubber bands elastics, and it wasn't until I was in college that I didn't realize that not everybody did this. Give me that elastic.
Yeah, and in Pittsburgh, people called them gum bands.
Oh, wow.
No. Now we can ask John about what John in Pittsburgh he kept his gum bands in, which might be like the Archies.
Jeez.
Now we've really gone far afield. Well, I'm interested, listener, if you have these placeholder words that are near and dear to you, especially ones that we haven't mentioned here or ones that you have created on your own, that would be really fun to hear about. And then we'll use them in published and edited texts. And Emily Brewster promises that she'll put them in the dictionary. That's how it works, right?
No. Balls and strikes.
Right. All right.
What you have to do is convince as many of your friends to start using it so that they'll also convince their friends. And then once there's several thousands of you looking for that word online, then it can get in the dictionary maybe.
All right. That sounds like a better plan, I guess.
It's the slow burn.
Yeah.
You got to be a long game.
Yes.
You can email us all of your suggestions.
All your thingamabobs.
And whatchamacallits and whoosy whatsits and thingamajigs at thefab413@nepm.org. Thank you, Emily Brewster.
Thank you, Monty Belmonte and Khalees Smith.
Thank you, What's-His-Face. Next, preparing to feast upon the many trucks serving up community and more this weekend at the Indian Orchard Food Truck Festival.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by the UMass 5 College Credit Union, offering co-op advantage checking with cash back on all purchases, plus secure debit card controls, all from the UMass 5 mobile banking app. Insured by NCUA, umass5.coop. The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by UMass Amherst School of Public Policy, offering graduate programs in public affairs, public policy and administration, data analytics, and computational social science. umass.edu/SPP.
We're in Indian Orchard because we heard there were going to be food.
And there's food. Yeah. There's 2 food trucks. Just a small smattering of what will be available on Saturday.
It's a big food truck festival that's going to go a lot of the day on Saturday. There's an official food truck festival press conference that we're sitting in on with all the other media. 22.
It feels so legitimate.
Yeah, right. We didn't come dressed fancy with our, fancy microphones. This is the 8th annual Indian Orchard Food Truck Festival. From 9 to 7. Wow, you can go breakfast, lunch, and dinner here.
I know, which is good because, I'll be hungry early.
Thank you all for being here this morning for this important announcement of this event. Continues to be successful. Thanks to all of you for helping us get the word out to the public. So I truly appreciate you all being here.
What's your name?
Orlando Ramos, State Representative.
You are the representative on Beacon Hill for Indian Orchard here. Tell us about the origin story of this Indian Orchard Food Truck Festival.
A few years ago when I was on the city council, we were working on an ordinance that was aimed towards helping food trucks here in the city of Springfield sort of get organized, because there were really no rules and regulations that were governing the youth and the places where they can park to be able to sell their product. And during that process, I started thinking that there really isn't anything here in the city of Springfield to help them exhibit their product. So I called my dear friend who was the president of the Indian Orchard Citizens Council, Saida Govan, and I came up with the idea and said, what if we do a food truck festival in Indian Orchard? This will be an opportunity to sort of get the community together and also give the vendors an opportunity to exhibit their products. She loved the idea. She took it, and if anybody knows Saida, if you just give her the idea, she'll run with it and make it happen. And here we are 8 years later, it's bigger than ever. Our first years were a little bit of a struggle. The first year we had, I think, too many trucks and not enough people. The second year we had too many people and not enough trucks. The third year we had a rain out. And then the fourth year was COVID. So I thought this was dead. I thought it was over after COVID, but thankfully I was able to secure an earmark at the state level for the Indian Orchard Citizens Council to continue this wonderful tradition. And the fifth year was the biggest one. Sixth year was even bigger. Last year was the best, and this year is going to be even greater. So year after year, it continues to grow. We continue to get more people, and this year I think we have the most diverse group of food trucks and food choices that we've ever had. So just want to thank all of you. And I think we're going to have another successful year.
There were other food truck festivals, but none of them locally grown like this one is. Like this one's like grown here, like built here. Was there opposition to you doing this at all?
There was the community was very, very welcoming. The Indian Orchard Citizens Council was very welcoming from the very beginning, and there was really no pushback. I mean, everybody's been very helpful in making it happen. The businesses around the area have been very supportive and welcoming as well.
Sometimes in certain communities, restaurants are opposed to food trucks because they think they're taking away some of that business.
Northampton.
So food truck festivals like this don't always pop up everywhere, but they can be great for communities, and I think people love eating food from food trucks. Yep. What were some of the regulations that came about because of the inspiration of the food truck festival that helped to make it more regular about where they can park, or about maybe some of the health code things that they have to deal with?
It helped us understand a little bit better about the struggles and sort of the red tape that these food trucks face, and we were able to incorporate that into legislation to help them be successful here in the city.
You were saying that there's one of the food trucks is from right here in Indian Orchard. Tell us about that one.
Carlos Pinchos, he's a staple of Indian Orchard. He's always here. He lives right here in Indian Orchard, and he's always parked right here in this parking lot, so he doesn't have to go too far on Saturday.
Love it.
Okay, so now I have a place to go on Saturdays to come and get pinchos if I don't feel like making food.
Absolutely.
Because food on sticks is always better.
Totally. Yeah, especially this Saturday from 9 to 7, where there'll be food here all day.
Have you seen a growth in food trucks becoming available since the change in legislation?
Yeah, and I think COVID has a lot to do with it as well. A lot of people started to realize that a mobile food truck is a better option than a brick and mortar, and it may be better for certain people depending on their budget. And COVID, I think, inspired a lot of people to start their dream. There were a lot of people who were looking to either start over or sort of shift their career, and I think that's part of the reason why we see so many food trucks come up.
State Representative Orlando Ramos, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And look who's here now, Zaida Govan, who the state representative was telling us about.
Just grabbing people.
Yeah, you're a city councilor in Springfield.
I am a city councilor, yes I am.
And you're also on the Citizens Council for Indian Orchard?
Yes, I'm the president of the Indian Orchard Citizens Council. I couldn't do this by myself. We have a board that is helping us. We have 1 million volunteers. We have some businesses and some sponsors that support us. The Mass Cultural Council every year has given us a grant for this. The Springfield Cultural Council, Eastman, Rick's Auto Body, a lot of businesses are supporting us, and we really, really appreciate it. And I'm real grateful.
Tell Tell us about what inspired you to get really behind this idea.
So when Orlando Ramos, who was the city councilor at the time, passed a food truck ordinance bill at the city council, and that allowed food trucks to be in our city. So when he said we should have a festival, I totally agreed with that. And especially at that time, I had just become the president of the council, and it didn't seem like people in Indian Orchard knew each other. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to have people come out, meet each other, eat each other's food, different food, listen to different kind of music. And I think it's been very successful because of that, right? People like to know each other. We're social beings, right? So we like to socialize and we like to meet people. We don't like strangers. And I always say that a stranger is just a friend you haven't met yet.
Mm-hmm.
Representative Ramos was saying the first year you had too many trucks and not enough people. The second year you had not enough trucks and too many people.
Yes.
But it seems like in the past 4 years you've hit a pretty good balance. How many trucks are here this year, and how many folks are you hoping to have over last year?
So I think this year, I honestly believe that we're going to hit 2,000. Last year we had
People, not
1,500
trucks.
people. Not trucks, no, oh gosh, no. Where would we put them?
Indian Orchard isn't that big.
Not that big. And I think we have 15 to 17 trucks. So I think if we got the 2,000 people to come out, the food trucks will sell their food out, as happened the third and fourth years, because they sold their food out. We had to close early because they sold their food out. So this year I think we have a good balance, and I'm expecting people to come out and hopefully they enjoy the food, they enjoy the music. It's just going to be a good time.
Was there music the first couple of years too? Has it always been like vendors in the park and music?
We've
and the
always had music, food trucks, and vendors. Yes, because that was the idea. Small businesses, people who are sitting at their houses making their bracelets and their little, waist beads. They want to come out and sell them, and that's what we said we would want to do. Have local people come out, local vendors, local bands, local food trucks, just to help the economy, help small businesses, and help the community.
We want to dig deeper into Indian Orchard eventually, but because we're trying to.
They only come here to drink. I'm sorry.
There's,
I have a mug. I have a mug club membership at Rustic.
Okay.
But there's so many fun little neighborhoods that are part of other towns and cities where we live, and we want to dig into them. And you're the president of the Indian Orchard Citizens Council. What makes Indian Orchard special to you, Zaida Govan?
I think what makes Indian Orchard special is that it has a long history, right? Indian Orchard, in the beginning, 1600s, right? The Algonquin Indians were out here. And sadly, of course, we know the history of our country. The Indians were basically murdered and massacred. And there's a guy out here in Indian Orchard, his name is Patrick Duquette, who has a lot of history. And he does tours of Indian Orchard. So those little gems that we have in Indian Orchard, did you know we have a Titanic museum in Indian Orchard?
No.
Yes, we do.
I feel like I heard about this a long time ago and I totally forgot about it.
Other ideas here. So you know what I mean? So those little gems. So I'm going to invite you guys to the tour that we're going to do. The Titanic Museum, other little neighborhoods. We have Portuguese neighborhoods, Russian neighborhoods, Polish, Latino neighborhoods, Black, all in Indian Orchard. You know what I mean? And we all get together at the Food Truck Festival and just meet each other and just get to know each other.
Awesome. Sounds great. I can't wait to go to the Titanic Museum.
I know, right?
That's so weird. I love it.
Like, why? But also awesome.
Yeah. I don't know why it's here, but it is. The thing of all things, right?
It's a lot safer than the other way to go look at the Titanic, like those other rich people encountered last year.
Hey, don't build your own submarine.
Right. So,
why not enjoy a food truck instead?
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you for taking the time with us.
It is only fitting that this is a tradition that continues here in Indian Orchard, a community that was built on tradition. So again, thank you to all of those who made this happen.
Yes, thank you, and thank you all for coming.
Khalees, you left that food truck little sampling with some incredible looking ice cream situation.
Yeah, they had two food trucks there for us to try out. Sutera & Co., who make ice cream things and bubble waffles, and I got a milkshake that was strawberry, but it had like a whole slice of cake in it and like 2 sticks of Pocky, and it was only like 8 ounces of milkshake, but there was so much going on that I was a little overwhelmed by the sheer amount of sugar.
I think I gained 6 pounds looking at it.
I know. Me too. And they have like about 22 food trucks that are actually going to be there, not to mention like all of the vendors in the park, and 8, 10 bands. A lot of names that you might recognize.
Going all day.
Indeed, including Outer Styly, who you're hearing right now.
Well, it's happening this Saturday at Indian Orchard, and yes, we have to check out that Titanic Museum because that sounds incredible.
It's inland. It's amazing.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM. This is the Friendship Band theme song once again, who are playing with 4 whole children in Pathlight, a fundraiser, along with the incredible New Jersey-based indie pop band Yo la Tengo.
And if you're curious about seeing their performance as Joan Jett, the film for Performance 34 just came out. It's visible on YouTube. You can go and watch their performance as her also.
Is it through Northampton Open Media?
I do believe it is.
All right, they do great work there in that community television station.
Indeed,
in
they
Northampton.
do.
And that concert, once again, with the Friendship Band is Wednesday, October 23rd at 33 Holly in Northampton. Tomorrow, here on the Fabulous 413, we'll bridge sonic and geographical boundaries to chat with a musical visionary, pianist, and percussionist. Omar Sosa is headed to Florence for a week-long residency at Bombyx.
Which is the coolest. You have no idea yet. But during that time, there's going to be a continuation of his project with local musicologist Tim Erickson and a showing of the documentary about his life and work, which is called 88 Well-Tuned Drums. Both it's showing in Florence and in Holyoke. And we'll speak with the man himself about his journey, as well as Soren Sorensen, the documentary filmmaker that put that journey on screen.
We'll have our weekly chat with U.S. Congressman Jim McGovern at McGoverning with McGovern. If you've got a question for the congressman, you can email us at thefab413@nepm.org. We will be having his independent competitor on the show with us in the near future as well, Cornelius Shea, so we'll get his take on that.
His name is amazing.
Yes.
And we'll see what interacting with him is like.
Right, plus we'll give you a preview of a locally made horror movie out of Chicopee. That's all tomorrow on the Fabulous 413. I'm Monty Belmonte.
I'm Khalees Smith. We'll see you tomorrow on the Fabulous 413.